Hey y'all, welcome to the Keep Your Head in the Game podcast, a place created to inform, inspire, incite, and invest in the mental, behavioral, and spiritual health of athletes. I'm your host, Stephanie, aka the Advantage Coach. We're doing a little different today. We're from the heart to the dome today. Typically, when I do this podcast, it's either I have a guest and we have prepared notes, or if it's just me, I have prepared notes. Well, today there are no prepared notes, and I was struggling trying to figure out why is it that I can't record the podcast that I have already prepared for you all. Really good topic, great things to talk about, and I think God finally revealed to me why He needed me to come and just be the term coined by Michael Todd and Transformation Church, hot today: humble, open, and transparent in sharing what I think is something that is necessary that doesn't get talked about publicly a lot, and that is grief, loss. We live in a world of impermanence where things are forever shifting and changing. And we've had a lot of shift and change in our world recently, and we've had a lot of loss. I have posted on social media, and if you follow me, great. You've seen it probably on my Instagram, on my Facebook. I'm the Advantage Coach. On my uh, TikTok, I'm the Advantage Coach. So on those spaces, I recorded a video last week and posted it about the young man Kyron Lacey who took his own life, and my heart is heavy for that. And that's part of the inspiration for today. But there's a deeper part for me as well. April is a month, not this particular year, but this month is a year where I experience a tremendous amount of grief trigger because I've had losses, multiple losses, and multiple things that trigger me to think about grief and loss in this month. And I want to be clear that um, grief is not just about the loss of human life. We can have and experience grief in multiple ways. And so that is part of why I wanted to take this moment today and just have this conversation. Like, literally, this is just me talking again, heart to head and straight off the dome, to tell you all um, just some things that I think are important to remember, as I am someone who coaches people in grief. I have done grief support groups, and also I talk about grief as a mental health professional, obviously. And so I want to go back to the point of impermanence. Nothing stays the same. Life is forever evolving. And so because of that, we do experience transitions, and sometimes those transitions and those changes that we experience bring about grief because there is loss of things that we want to continue to stay the same or to be with us, or if it's a person, if it's a pet, we would love for them to be with us forever, but that's just not how it works. If it's a career or a opportunity, and it doesn't happen, it's just not how it works. And so what do we do, right? And today, I'm a part of Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and we are doing a sports and culture training right now. And today our topic was lament. And I thought, okay, God, I get it, because this is why I haven't been able to do the well prepared podcast, because I have been lamenting. Uh, and if you don't know, that's like empathy, or having empathy for great loss or sorrow for others, basically, and then with yourself. And so, in my lamenting this situation with the young man was just kind of like uh, the icing on the cake, if you will, for me to know that this was something that we needed to have a conversation about. And so I think that sometimes people don't recognize grief as grief, again, because we associate it only with the loss of life, and that is not true. Um, in my April, being hot right now, I have lost loved ones, I have lost a marriage, um, and I also am triggered to grieve a loss by a birthday. So it is a lot in this month. And I feel like I have been working tirelessly to be the best version of myself, not just in this month, but period. But it's not for me. I don't know how many of you know that we don't go through what we go through for ourselves, we go through for other people. And so I feel like this is my opportunity. And I'm going to go back to in FCA today and talking about lamenting. We had to write a psalm, if you will, of our own, talking to God about something that really bothers us we're talking about it in terms of Samaria. So mine was about loss. Mine was about grief. Mine was about um, people feeling helpless and hopeless. And in those realities of helpless and hopeless, sometimes it makes it really difficult for us to know that this too shall pass. And I asked in my psalm to be a light unto the earth for those people who are feeling helpless and hopeless. And so I am taking these moments today um, to do this podcast to just say um, there is better, even when it doesn't feel that way right now. Things will change, even if it doesn't feel that way right now. And so I encourage you to just 3 things I think I want to share with you. One of the things that I tell people in when I'm doing any sort of grief counseling, grief coaching, is feel all your feels. It is perfectly okay for you to feel whatever you're feeling. And oftentimes we use our secondary emotion of anger to express some very primary, more deep emotions. And I feel like it is necessary to um, be self reflective in those moments when we are experiencing those losses, right? When we are experiencing those transitions and changes that incorporate loss, that also make us feel like we're losing something. So having the ability to recognize and be self-aware of what you're feeling. So feel all your feels. And if you find yourself having trouble even being able to vocalize them, um, seeking help. Mental health professionals are amazing. And so being able to talk to someone, you're, if you're a part of a church, talking to someone, like those are really good ways to feel safe, because that's important to share and even get to the root of how you feel. And then I think another thing that I would suggest is um, finding ways to honor whatever you're losing. And so if it's a person, finding a way to honor that person. So being hot, will share that for me in this month, my mother's birthday is coming up. And my father passed away a week after my mother's birthday. So with both of those, the way that I'm honoring my parents, one of the ways that I'm honoring my parents is by doing this podcast. Yes, I'm being obedient to God first and foremost, because He was the one that said to do this. But it's also just like God that it would also be an opportunity to honor my parents, because my dad was such a stickler for, um, you know, being a good speaker, proper vernacular and good speech. And my mother was my biggest cheerleader in saying, get out there and let people hear you, that kind of thing. So I feel like they would be proud. This is a way that I'm honoring them. Um, in the loss, I also, being humble, open, and transparent, lost, as I said, a marriage. In this month would have been an anniversary for a marriage. And because of that, what I've done is decided to honor myself in that situation by taking time. And what I've been doing for the last 6 years since my divorce is like developing the best version of myself, to be the right, to love myself and to be able to be loved, receive love, and to give love. And so that is what I've really been working very hard on, and I continue to do. And that's a way for me to honor that loss. So I hope that helps. I hope that helps you see when I say honor the loss, that's what I mean. Um, and the last thing I will tell you is take good care of yourself, right? Make yourself a priority. Sometimes when we experience loss, we kind of lose ourselves, right? We lose ourselves in things, anxiety or depression. We don't really look like what we think we should look like. We don't talk like or um, any of the things that we don't think like we think, like we just don't, we lose ourselves basically. And so I'm encouraging you to find a way to um, prioritize yourself, making yourself a priority in your everyday. And that's as simple as waking up with an affirmation. And if your affirmation is, this too shall pass, that's okay. If your affirmation is, I am fearfully and wonderfully made, that's okay. If your affirmation is, this won't last forever, I can handle this. I do have one that I absolutely love that's about anxiety. It says, um, thank you, anxiety, for doing your job, which is to help me to recognize that there is something that is not quite right, but I got it from here. So I really just hope that these help you as you move into, the next phase, whatever that looks like for you, not allowing yourself to be um, uh, imprisoned by anybody else's, what that looks like for you. But so I'm just asking you to just, yeah, take good care of yourself. So I hope that my hope in this is that it was a light, that somebody who might be feeling really dark, that some athlete who's out there who's not sure about what's next. As you know, some of you are in college and, this is the end of the year, and now you're like, you might be a senior, or, you're like, now what's next? Like, that is one of those transitions in the loss of what's next, loss of that thing that has been so important to you for so long. Now you've got to figure out what's next. And so I encourage you to just find the silver lining in it all, right? In those situations, find the silver lining. You have been hopefully given a really good education that you can, and a platform. I'm always talking to my athletes that I coach about their platforms. So you've been given a really good opportunity, a really good platform, and some of you have had NIL deals, so you might have, really good, a really good start on your financial security. But finding out who you are, because you're more than the sport, is really important too. So I'm rambling. Sorry. It's just my passion. If it doesn't show through, this is my passion. And so I really hope that you all will find benefit in what we're talking about. And if you need me, you can always reach out to me. The number seven, Crowns, CROWNSENT.com. And you can schedule with me if you would like to do that. You can also follow me on my social medias. It's the Advantage Coach. Yeah, please like, subscribe, share, this podcast with anybody who you think may benefit from having that inspiring, informative, insightful, and investment in their mental, behavioral, and spiritual health. So take care, and till next time.